You see this guy right here? This is who she's defending. People like this. Well, who is this? Well, I'll tell you who he is. Look at this here. And of course, obviously, this was in Chicago. Migrant, all right, migrant, knocked woman unconscious, violated her, RAPED, in Northwest Side Alley, prosecutors say. He knocked a woman out unconscious and took her innocence in an alley. That's who these people are defending. And that's who Democrats want to re-release back onto the population once they get into office again. Let's check this article out in closing. A Nicaraguan migrant has been detained after prosecutors accused him of brutally attacking and violating a 54-year-old woman in a Northwest Side alley. Prosecutors said the attack occurred around 3 a.m. on August 31st. The woman was walking in the 2300 block of North Laverne Avenue when Letter Aruz Medina allegedly ran out of Blackhawk Park, grabbed her by her hair, and dragged her screaming across the street into an alley. The article goes on to read, Assistant State's Attorney Michael Percara told Judge Antara Nate Riviera that surveillance video captured Aruz Medina pulling the woman to the ground and forcing her behind a dumpster. Ugh. And I quote, after strangling her, he then grabbed her by the hair with both his hands and repeatedly slammed the back of her head into the concrete, causing her to lose consciousness, Percara stated. This monster right here that the good citizens of Chicago are defending, right? When she regained consciousness, Aruz Medina was on top of her with his private part out. The woman managed to kick him in the groin, but he allegedly threw her down again and assaulted her further. Percara said a passing motorist interrupted the attack, prompting Aruz Medina to flee. And I quote, the victim sought help from the car, but the car drove off. He said, hey, I'm out of here. I did my part. Skirt. Percara continued. She then walked down Fullerton. Let's start that over again. She then walked down Fullerton, still completely naked. That's sad. Seeking help, ultimately coming upon a food truck that was still open. This is what this monster did. Now, I know some of you might be looking at that last sentence and saying, man, I can't believe that the person drove off. You know, why would he do that? Well, you can expect stuff like that in liberal cities, in liberal states. Why is that? Because in liberal cities and liberal states, you don't have the right to defend yourself, nor do you have the right to defend others. Not like in a state like Georgia. If I remember correctly, and I'm about 99% sure about this, in Georgia, you have the right to not just protect yourself, but others. In Georgia, if that same situation occurred, the driver would have legally been allowed to pull out his super soaker and do the world a favor. And it would have been all legal in self-defense of that woman. But let me tell you something, man. In a city like Chicago or even Los Angeles, forget pulling out the super soaker. These liberal cities like where I live, they're so ridiculous. If whoever that was got out the vehicle and just hit dude with a swift uppercut, he would have messed around and got arrested for assault. That's how ridiculous things are here. He would have messed around and got arrested. They would have hit him with an assault and battery. That's how ridiculous things are here. So people don't even bother. When the law won't do its part, but yet liberal policies handcuff the citizens from being able to defend themselves, let alone others. Let me tell you something, man. People aren't going out of their way to risk their lives for somebody that's not family at that point. People aren't going out of their way to risk their freedom for someone that's not family. Now, family is different. Close friends, different. People go out their way, risk their lives, and risk their freedom. But for somebody that they don't know in a liberal city, where if you do the world a favor, this and while he's in the middle of committing a heinous act, now all of a sudden they get hit you with murder charges. Hey, look, man, I get it. People can feel how they want to feel about that, but I get it. And I guess he felt like I played my part, or she, whoever that was, and say, hey, skirt, he's gone. I don't know. I gotta go though. You guys could debate about that in the comment section if you want, but whoever that was that skirted off, I'll be honest with you. Hey, like I said, living here in the liberal city, I get it. I get it. And now all of a sudden you hit with charges, when criminals are allowed to have guns, but law-abiding citizens, you have to, if you want to own a gun in Los Angeles and you want to have it in your car, it's completely pointless and useless, because the gun, unless you have a concealed carry permit, which is borderline impossible to get out here, you have to have that gun completely dismantled, locked in the gun box, and placed in your trunk. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of having a firearm with you in your car to protect yourself from lunatics like this, if it has to be completely dismantled in a locked box, and that locked box has to be in your trunk? Come on, man. I rest my case. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm just saying, I'm whoever that was, people feel away. Oh, I can't believe you didn't do anything. Trust me when I say I get it. I get it.